About half my landlords right now are people that couldn't sell during the bubble in 2009, 10, 11, and just decided they fought it out. It was a couple years before they get them refinanced and get them back down to, remember the old buy downs and what they called, what was it called? It wasn't called a refinance. It was a, I can't even remember the term. When you had when the banks, you go to the banks and say, all right, modification. Get a loan
modification.
Yeah, I remember they were doing those all day long, and people got right-sided them. And now my landlords are making great money on their investment properties and have a nice chunk of real estate and a nice chunk of money that will go towards their retirement and some income. So I just think the first investment property, I think, tell everybody about your Leapfrog system, because I think that's the best way to get into it.
Well, I tell you what, here's a lot of people struggle. They know that they want to buy property. They know that owning real estate is going to accumulate wealth for you, and it absolutely will. The problem is that not a lot of people have 20, 25, 30%.
I hardly ever see that. Yeah.
It's not easy to do. You got to be sitting on a pile of cash in order to do that. And a lot of people just didn't have it. And when I started off, I didn't have the money to do it either. So what I did is I bought my primary residence. I happened to have the first primary residence I had for probably 4 or 5 years. And then I thought, I'm going to sell that one to go buy my next one. But I didn't. I kept it. And I put minimum down on the next one, even though I felt I was a little bit struggling for the payment. Then I bought the next one and I kept that one and I kept rolling it. And I was able to put down 5%
instead of 25,
instead of 20%. And it allowed me to continue to do this. And I was able to buy properties at a faster pace than somebody that had to save 20 or 25% to put down. So I did this and I rolled this over, and I did this several times. I did it 5 times until my wife said, we're not moving anymore. Okay, this is all we're going to do. We got our 5 properties. Now I kept buying properties because at that point I had accumulated enough wealth where I could put down 20%. And then I bought more properties. Now I made a big mistake, and I'm going to tell you, this is my confession. Right after the recession, come 2008 to 2015, I did not buy any properties. I did not buy properties.
Yeah.
I wish I could have turned the clock.
What's the slow and steady, buying one every 3 or 4 years?
Here's the problem is that people didn't buy because they were fearful because of all the foreclosures.
That's when you should have been. Yeah.
That would have been the best time to ever buy.
Yep.
Now, what do you think people are today? A little fearful.
Yep.
That's the best time to buy property.
Yep.
When you're in fear, it means that there's an opportunity. So then I sold 5 properties in 2018. What do you think happened in 2019 and 2020?
Everything started going nuts
again.
COVID
Went up 25%. I lost probably $1 million in equity in those.
Oh, we can't go back. Don't go back and count that. Don't torture yourself.
I'm trying to share with people that we've made mistakes. We're trying to help you not make.
And here's a good metric I think that people need to watch. I got burned in 2010, 2011 because I had more real estate than I had liquid money.
Yes.
And I literally shed properties, keeping those afloat because I didn't short sale anything. I had several properties rented for $2,000 a month, but the mortgage payment was $3,500 a month. And I battled through that. But now my metric I like to watch, and I always tell people this, I don't want the first time buyer who has $10,000, that's it, saved to his name, having 3 or 4 rental properties. At a certain point, I think you should have about 50% of your money with your financial planner, your cash net worth, and about 50% in real estate. You get out of balance on that, and that's when bad things can happen if we have something happen like a pandemic.
I agree.
Or like a crash in the market if that happens. But it's just a good rule of thumb. Now, if you've got 20 properties and $1 million in the bank, God bless you. We've talked to some investors that have 20, 30, 50 properties.
We've got a couple going right now.
That's a whole business.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's a whole business. But I just think you've got to get to that point. It starts out with 1, 2, 3 properties. And then nowadays, those are close to being paid off. You got $1 million in real estate.
Sure.
Plus your primary. You're always going to live in something, hopefully not renting. So I just think it's a good rule, and I can always help people with a real estate plan. I've got older folks that have come to me in their 60s saying, is this a good rental house? And if it's the big McMansion, probably not. But I've had people sell, buy a rental, and buy a primary. And all of a sudden they turned $4,000 a month into $2,000 a month in a debt, but they were getting $2,000 in income.
Sure they were.
So that's where real estate planning comes in. If you want to get any advice on that, I can always help you. 407-352-8118.
And if you're looking to get a mortgage on it, you can call the loan arranger at 407-250-9144. Why do people choose me over a bank or a credit union or a Rocket Mortgage or something like that? Tell them why you think you should choose me. I'm not even going to answer the question myself.
Well, if you don't have a hole in your head, you definitely want to choose Bruce if you want to go to the big bank. But I think simplicity and experience. And what you do makes sense, Bruce. I've seen banks say, yeah, sure, we'll do that loan for you. They think they're a VIP customer because I've been with Wells Fargo for 35
Sure.
years. And before it was Wells Fargo. And I still get treated like they still want to give me a high interest credit card and try and get me another mortgage and refinance things. And I've seen them trying to do a mortgage for somebody saying, we'll do that for you, but we need you to transfer your $1 million you have in your IRA to our bank and things like that. And it's insane.
Well, here's the other thing. How easy is it for you to reach the Wells Fargo loan rep on the weekend when you're making an offer?
What's the time difference for the Philippines?
I don't
for that
know,
call center?
but
Okay,
I'm going
all
to tell you something. You ain't going to reach them. Also, will they guarantee that their client is fully approved and guarantee the seller
No.
that they'll pay them?
No.
Okay. Do they close on time or they ask for extensions?
I get solicited every once in a while from a bank, Bruce, from a loan rep in a bank, and God bless him for reaching out. I'm one of the biggest realtors in town.
Yep.
And I'll say, all right, great. My lender can guarantee a closing once he has all the documents. He can fast track a closing and close a loan in like
10 days,
10 days to 3 weeks, whatever we need to make it work for the customer. And I said, can you guys do that? And either I get a dial tone or I get silence.
Yes.
So I said, you should call Bruce. He's interviewing. So anyway,
Well,
you want to do it right. They just need to call you.
Yep. And here's something else. So if you are, maybe we're talking about investing in real estate. I've got a fix and flip program also that is really good for investors that are really experienced and want to do a fix and flip. So I'll go over that. I'm going to get all the details. I'm going to put it on my website so you'll be able to do it. And then we'll talk a little bit more about it because I've just come out with my fix and flip program. I've come out with a multi-unit. So I'll go over 4 units now. I'll go up to 35 units.
Really?
Yes. I'll go to 35 units on my commercial
line.
That's
very rare.
Listen to this. Builders that build between 5 and 50 homes. I got a builder loan that you can put specs in the ground. You want specs in the ground because you're hunting for people to build on your own lot and you can't find them. We can help you put specs in the ground. I just picked up a builder up in Tallahassee that just bought 50 lots, and I'm going to help him with all of his properties up there.
Oh, wow. Great.
So if you're a builder and you struggle and you can't get your line from your bank, but you're reputable, you got good credit, you don't even have to supply me with your financials. I want a good exit strategy. Now, these are not for you to put a model home in and keep it. I want to be in and out on the commercial loan so I can do the end loan for the client. But builders, fix and flips, reno loans, construction perms, I got it all right here. 407-250-9144 or go to webringyouhome.com. You want information on any of my products? I am putting together a library right now of videos and going over the pros and cons of every single type of product and different systems that I've put in place. And I'm revamping my website and my YouTube so that you can easily find it. You can go, I want to look up bridge loans. Here's your options on bridge loans. I want to look up fix and flips. Go to Bruce Woodburn. You'll do the fix and flips.
What's your number, Bruce?
407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com.
You want to reach me? 407-352-8118. I can help you make a real estate plan. Just had a gentleman inherited a large amount of money. We're going to sit down, and he was amazed. He asked me why he got enough money to buy 6 or 7 homes, Bruce. And I said, do you have a financial planner? He said, no. And I said, I'm going to get you a planner too. I said, because you should not put all this money into real estate. He was amazed that I told him that. He goes, why would you do that? It's going to cost you business. I said, no, I want you to build wealth. I want
you to win.
I want you to win. And I don't want you all in on real estate. I want you to have diversified investments. And so he's going to get he needs a primary. He didn't have a primary. He's going to get that plus either 2 to 3 rentals.
It's interesting how much you and I actually have conversations with people to tell them not to do something that if we were greedy business people, you'd tell them, no, let's do this.
That's the one that's refi now. We can definitely refi you.
That's why we do this. And you mentioned refis. It's why I have a VIP rate watch list, because every other lender's telling these clients, refinance it right now, do it right now. The rates may not drop. They may not drop, but is it truly right for you to refinance? Don't you want somebody with an honest opinion that's going to look at your scenario and go, yeah, I think we could hold out a little bit longer on here. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Purchase, refinance, home equity line, reverse mortgages, you name it, I got it. Reno loans, home equity lines of credit, HELOCs, HELoans. I got them all right here, and everything's in-house. You don't have to worry about me brokering it to some bank that you don't even know what your conditions are going to be. So you call me. Cleve, what's your number?
407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com.
So we covered bridge loans.
I want to talk DSCRs. We haven't mentioned
I want
those.
to talk about DSCRs. I want you to know that whatever you need as a property investor, if you're a first-time home buyer, move-up buyer, I just closed a big mansion on the beach last month. I've got one up in Tallahassee that I'm doing for a high-level executive up there. I'm doing more and more $1 million properties than we ever done before.
We're getting a lot more of those as wealth is shifting to Florida.
Yep. And here's why I think the DSCR is popular. It's popular for me. It's been popular for you. And it's popular for people that want to be investors. Now, you need to put your 20% down or more on these properties, but it simplifies the process. So if you truly are an investor and you want to buy investment properties, single family, duplex, townhomes, quads, triplexes, you name it, I got the products for you, and a DSCR can work, because the only income that you need to bring to the table is how much the house is going to lease for. So we've got our client Gavin right now. He's buying a duplex, and the rent on that would average $4,400. His payments $3,000. He's making $1,400 a month on this property right off the get-go.
Now, how are rates on the DSCR? Let's just say 20% down. I know there's difference at 20, 25, and 30%, right?
Yep. They're at the more you put down and the higher the rent can receive. So if your rent is that much higher than your mortgage payment, it can improve your rate. We also can put a prepayment penalty on it up to 5 years. So some people may say, I don't want a prepayment penalty on it. If I can get your interest rate pretty close to what a conventional interest rate would be, why would you ever need to refinance it? You don't. So I generally look at about a 3-year prepay, depending on the client, and it helps them keep their payments down and increase.
And the DSCRs are running high 6s to 7s.
Oh yeah, I can get an interest rate in the mid 6s even on a DSCR.
Really, just barely above.
You gotta have good credit,
barely above your primary rates.
Listen, if interest rates right now for Fannie Mae are at 6.39%.
Yep, today.
And investor Fannie Mae is going to be closer to 7. It's going to be 6.99 all day long. This investor program with no tax returns can be in the mid 6s to high 6s, depending on whether you want to buy it down. And it allows the seller to pay up to 6 points toward the buyer's closing costs. A conventional investor loan only allows 2%. So we're running out of time right here. Let's give out your number.
All right. You want to reach me this weekend to make your real estate plan? Call me 407-352-8118 for Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, or go to cleveloveland.com. Have a great weekend.
Yep. Or call Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, right now at 407-250-9144 or WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. We're all here to help you achieve wealth in real estate without any of the shenanigans. You're going to get the real deal right here. I'll see you next week.